everyone, and welcome to Political Paradigm. My guest today is Major General John Enenche, retired. He is a former coordinator at Defense Media Operations. Welcome to Political Paradigm, General.
Thank you, Terry, for having me again. After a long
exactly.
while.
So it's been a while. I must start off by, last time I spoke with you were in service.
Yes.
I must start off by saying that I didn't think that so soon I'd be speaking to you on issues of politics.
Well, it has happened that way.
It has happened that way. Let me begin by congratulating you on successfully serving out your time.
Thank you.
In the military. 37 years.
Yes, 2 months and 10 days.
And 10 days. That's quite a while. But it's over a year since you bowed out.
Yes.
At the rank of Major General. How's retirement been for you?
Well, initially it wasn't easy because of the seeming sudden transition. Of course, you are aware of what happened then when the service chiefs were changed, and then new service chiefs were appointed, and then after that, shortly, we were retired. You know, short of when we were actually supposed to be proceeding on retirement, to have completed 35 years of active service. So one needed time because pre-retirement preparations that one did, part of it was supposed to be psychological, orientation to the new life you are going into. For a place, an institution, an organization where you have been for almost 38 years, that is 3 years in training all your life. And then for people like us, from secondary school straight to the Nigerian Defense Academy. So you have known nothing in your life. You have not lived another life. So you needed at least 1 year or thereabout to prepare psychologically before you transit into the mixed life of, passive military, no more active military life. So you needed time, and of course it took me about 3 months staying at home, praying, getting redirected and all that. Outside that, the doors became open for me now to play the double role of retired officer.
Well, it's been, even though you say you were retired prematurely, 37 years in service is no joke.
Plus cadet days.
Plus cadet days.
Yes.
So how proud?
It's not really prematurely. Of course, even after 30 years of service, the point I want to make here is that you already prepared your mind.
No, I said that because you had said that you were supposed to retire at a certain
December,
time.
December, yes, 20th of the same year.
Oh,
and then you now had to go, giving notice in February to, go in March. So,
but how proud are you of your contributions to the growth and development of the country?
If there's anything that I will thank God for, is the privilege of having passed through the military service. Because I was grilled, I was molded from, in quote, nothing to something. From a raw material to almost something good product. So, and I have experienced a lot. Having to superintend over various characters. Though trained in the military, but you still see characters in the military. And again, what I went through by area of being engaged, taxed. The taxing that I got, so challenging taxings and all added to what I am today and the experiences I gained. So it's a very, very interesting experience for me that I cannot buy or get anywhere.
I see you're trying to adjust to life outside the military, and recently you joined Twitter. How's the feedback on Twitter?
The Twitter, I think I have been on Twitter since I was Director Defense Information, and then I had 1 year of posting to Army War College, Nigeria as a commandant. I had been there since 2020.
I just noticed.
So, but you noticed because it became active.
More active, absolutely.
When I was having only about 70 followers, but when you notice when this issue brouhaha of being in
partisan,
being party presidential campaign council and all that, and it became active. So that was when you noticed, but not recently.
Well, we'll get to the details.
We'll get to the details later.
That, but let me start off by saying that your first tweet, which I saw as of July, when you became more active, read 2023 general elections ensure you are part of the coming historical rebirth of a new Nigeria. Is this what you see happening in 2023?
Yeah.
A new rebirth?
Yes. What led to that tweet, like you said, was, for me, a foundation. After I got the conviction that go into it, I now tweeted so that to create the awareness and to encourage people. And do you know what I got? It was just only one response. Other people that saw it, I'm sure they were like, what is this man up to? A lot of people were assuming as I come out, I go into full-time ministry, preaching the gospel as it were and all that. Yes. But after I got the conviction that you need to add value, pay back what God has done you through the military, I now tweeted to prepare the ground for what I'm doing now.
So the question was, do you see a rebirth?
I see it.
In 2023?
Yeah.
What exactly do you see?
I see a new Nigeria through the movement that is on now. The movement that is on comprises various organs.
That would be the level of awareness.
The level of awareness.
Electorate, I believe.
Change in attitude. Change in handling government public issues. Change in every ramification. Why? Because the leadership is going to determine it. I see a new Nigeria coming up.
Do you believe you have the attention of the people, considering how the military is perceived and what many would describe as your role in the EndSARS, in the aftermath of the EndSARS protest? Do you believe you have the attention, the positive attention of Nigerians?
Yes. You know, there are times things will happen. It gives you attention. Not every negative has a disadvantage in quote per se. It brings you out. And then people will know you more. And that is one of the few things, aside from my briefing the nation every Thursday about our operations in the armed forces. So it actually gave me attention, brought me out. That is what I can see. All
right, with that, let's address the elephant in the room now. I read your statement following the calls for you to be dropped from the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council. It would seem, however, that your explanation didn't suffice as the Labour Party eventually dropped you from the campaign council. Well, how do you react to being dropped?
I will tell you that my reaction to it is that of joy. Why? We are talking about a new Nigeria. We are talking about a rebirth whereby you listen to the people. Who are the people that complained? The people that complained from the Twitter, I can say so, it was actually on Twitter. They were not up to 1,500. So if you look at the whole population of the movement that is going to form Labour Party, and you see the principals listening to them, you know that you have what? You're going to have a listening president or a listening authority, which is one of their complaints. I now discover that there is need for more effective strategic communication than ever. So I'm happy. And once that is done, that means in the incoming government, I believe that with the charter that Labour is going to operate with the charter of the Nigerian Labour Congress, things will be done such that every person will matter. What is the role of the campaign council in an organization like that? It is just maybe like 1% of what you are supposed to achieve. And I have a lot. So I will now channel my energy to all the other things that I have packaged.
So it's safe to say that this will not affect your support?
No, not at all. Rather, it will encourage me more because I have discovered two things. That this is a group of people that nobody must take for granted. And the party must not take them for granted.
What group of people?
That is the people that agitated. Of course, if I show you the responses, it rose from, as at the time I came back from church today, it had increased to about 4,000 plus.
Oh, you know, that complaint was not just social media.
It's not social media.
Off social media.
Off social media, yes. So if you put the whole together, it became like, will I call it an issue between two groups. no, yes, he did it, he did that, he did all that, made me to actually go back and look and assess myself, assess what I did. And it encouraged me that, look, it is not all about that. What has been on in this country, I think NSAS was something that came up amongst the insecurity and other things, poverty, hunger, and all. And I still have a lot. And of course, I didn't come because of NSAS. I came in because of what? First and foremost, for the country, what I can contribute, for the country to be secured, for all human activities to make us to grow and to fulfill all that God has promised us in this country. Look at all the vast land. People cannot farm, cannot go to farm. Look at the roads, bad roads, small bad roads, they pass on you and all whatever. Look at insurgency still lingering, a bit. The strategy brought out, which I put together under the former Chief of Army Staff, only one stage was implemented. Decimation. Domination was not able, and occupation. All those are things that look, and it's not the fault of the armed forces. They are there ready if they have all that it needs. So should I now sit back? No, sir.
So you say that there was a strategy in place which the military at the time wanted to implement,
yes,
but could not implement because...
No, they implemented, it's supposed to be 1, 2, 3.
But one...
Decimation, domination, and occupation.
So what happened?
It was decimated. For occupation, you need enough resources to bring up the level of the armed forces to a particular state of readiness, which is what they are doing gradually within available resources at the time we left. So if you have such in mind, will you sit back? Because everything depends on security. And we have a very good ready armed forces, crack service chiefs and followers. All that is necessary.
It is what we had or we have?
We have now, as I speak with you, we have. Right from the Chief of Defense Staff, all of them, I know that by privilege, I am in a band with them. And I know these people that are there now. They are people that give them what is necessary, they will deliver in jiffy.
So what they need now is a commander-in-chief that can lead appropriately? Well,
it's not the fault of the commander-in-chief. You can see how the country has been going, indebtedness and all that, and there's a there's demand on the national pulse from every sector. I know and I'm aware before I left that anytime, at least within available resources, in short, at a point I went for budget presentation. And they told us that, look, resources are not there. But what we're even asking for is small. I have seen occasions where the National Assembly, other people will press that they must do what? Increase budget for the military, fund them more. But all is subject to what is available. So the point I'm making is that we have a ready force that you give them what is required, they will deliver as expected.
You know, I want us to stick with the circumstances surrounding your being dropped from the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council. But based on what you said, I want us to quickly conclude on that. When you talk about available resources, available data shows that in the past 7 years, at least 8 trillion naira has been made available for the military to battle the issue of the concern of insecurity in the country. Are you saying that's not enough? Because some persons believe that the monies have just found their way into the wrong pockets.
Well, the ones that I can say directly channeled to the services.
Not enough?
No, it's not enough. And it was not wrongly, because at the point, it was government-to-government procurement. We were no longer using contractors, people, middlemen, and all that. And the services they put their feet on the ground. That whatever they wanted, even if they had to be procured locally, or they were. The only time that we had a lag before I left was the COVID-19 period. That a lot of delays came in, things that were supposed to be brought were not brought, but later, much later, all of them came in. So you see, defense, war, or operations, very, very expensive. Right, and that is why if it can be avoided, it's better avoided.
All right, let's go back to our initial conversation. Now, according to your statement, trying to explain your position on the NSAS issue, you said that you declared that the shooting at the Lekki toll gate was photoshopped on the 20th of October 2020 because of an oath of allegiance which you swore on commissioning to the military service. I'd like to believe that's a statement from you. Now that you're out of service, is that the stand you still take?
You see, the people that are out there better those on social media, whatever. It is difficult to convince anybody, for them particularly. And I say this information is based on the information you have and your analysis. The way you analyze this is different from the way I analyzed it then, based on resources and things available to me. What I can say is that that press statement should suffice. Why? Because the way it is, for you to explain to anybody, it will require, like some of the tweeters say, look, we need Peace and Reconciliation Commission, and I say more effort to be put in. I will recommend, and definitely I will do that to the labor authorities, for them to revisit it if possible. Things must be brought out. And what are those things? Those cameras, that CCTV and all, possibly for them to see it. Now, the issue was that they started, it was a massacre. What is massacre? Plenty people. They now changed to killing. What is killing? They now changed to shooting. And when the panel was there, all those things, I wish they would have time to read the report to the panel and at the same time, be privileged to see. Because I was made to, I'm out of service now, but I was made to understand that there are footages. So, and then all of them, you see, it's something, that was why I said I shared in your what? In your pains.
At the time, you didn't know that there were footages?
I didn't know that they were there. No, at the time, it was like, they said they damaged everything and all that. It was in the process that the Commission of Inquiry was on. Before the report came out, I had left the service. The report came out after I had left. So what I'm saying is that let everybody calm down. An issue like this is an issue that if you don't handle it decisively, conclusively, it will continue to linger. I believe since the Labour Party will say, General Enenche, drop, they have complained. It is an issue that they take seriously. I will not want to interfere or think for them now.
So you expect that if Labour wins this election in 2023, it should revisit the issue of the NSAS?
Yes.
So here's why I ask this question with regard to the NSAS protest. In recent times, you have not only shown support, open support for Labour, you have spoken openly on the need for the country to get it right in 2023 and Nigerians to wake up and do their part to make sure that the country gets back on track. Now, Peter Obi, for many, is a beneficiary of the NSAS protest. The NSAS protest, for many, birthed a new breed of Nigerians who became extra interested in the polity and politics in general. And it would seem that they have tilted in his direction, in the same direction you have tilted, and you would need them to work together. What would you say to them?
Now, I will ask you a question. You say Peter Obi is part of NSAS.
I say he's a beneficiary.
How is he a beneficiary?
Analytically, he is a beneficiary. If you look at the crop of people following him now, I have spoken to a number of people on this issue, except you want to hold the position that he's not a beneficiary.
I don't want to hold that position.
You don't want to hold the position as to where... Great. But largely, if the people following Peter Obi were part of the NSAS protest, I believe that this man could address some of the issues that we had concerns with. And you are going to be part of the Peter Obi movement.
You see, NSAS is a national issue.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's not an issue of a personal thing. What is NSAS? End police brutality. You sitting down, have you ever directly or indirectly experienced police brutality? Maybe your relation or your friend. So to start personalizing NSAS or start pinning it on somebody, I don't want to accept that. It's something that how did it happen? No, police brutality must stop, do this, do that. And they brought out about 8 points, and all of them were addressed. So if the people that authorized the addressing of those things didn't have any impact of NSAS negatively, they wouldn't have. So to now start narrowing down NSAS to pinning it on somebody, I will never be part of it because it was a national issue. And that was why it was handled in the way it was handled, except that probably there are other things that me and you may not know. Other remote causes, remote seasons, remote reasons responsible for it. That is why I will advise us to be very, very careful, particularly majority of the people in this group, maybe 40 years maximum, 20, 19 and all that. And by the time this is, the conveners may not tell you what they have in mind. They will just present a superficial picture to you. And that is why we need to handle it with a lot of care. And not to rush into say, you did this, you say this, Enenche, you say this, you say that. We have passed that level. So I will not want to, in all fairness to myself, to you, to Peter, everybody, to pin it on anybody that was part of it. I believe Why I came at that? Everybody, whether you are Ensasu, you are Muslim, you are Christian, hunger is not sparing you. Whether you are the criminality is not sparing you, kidnappers are not sparing your relations or yourself.
So that goes to say that
the movement is not the movement of Ensas. You have former politicians, people that the camp are moving from PDP, APC to move there. You have the core Nigerian Labour Congress all over the country, TUC there. And then you now have people like me who are, look, you have knowledge, you have this and that, you have experience coming in. So it is a party for now. It's not even a party by my own concept, by my own, will I call it, consideration, analysis, packaging. No, it's a movement now. I believe that it will become a party when we have won, when it has won. People will come together and then come up with ideologies.
I want us to wrap up this NSAS issue.
Yeah.
Basically, because it's the reason we're having this conversation. You had joined the Peter Obi movement and they had raised the NSAS controversy. And so everybody wants to talk to you now. And I think it's a good thing that regardless, you have said that you want to stick with the support you have towards Mr. Peter Obi. But listening to you, it would almost seem that you're concluding that the demands of the NSAS protesters at the time were genuine.
As it were.
Yes.
The demands was that, the major demands was that police and SARS is harassing people. They are not doing their work as policemen, which everybody saw. Yes, the demands were genuine. But it was hijacked. If you look at, unfortunately, they were not wearing tags. If they had worn tags, probably maybe they would have approached the police in a different way. And the crowd was amassing. Because I understand that they were serving refreshments and all that. And all other group, what is our population demography if you classify them? What is our population, the classification of Nigerian population?
Largely youthful.
Youthful, and then among the youthful, you have those ones that are serious, genuine, and those that poverty or whatever has, wounded beyond repairs, and they are on the streets, they're joined up. So the demand of the real people that say end police brutality, remove SARS from our system, was genuine. It was this inclusion of the other people that came, the mixed multitude, that caused all the problem.
Let's talk about your support for Mr. Peter Obi now. But before we go into that detail, you seem interested in politics, and I'm tempted to ask you, are you now into politics beyond just speaking about changing the polity? Are you into politics now?
Well, it will become a politician that will be definitely defined after or about when we have achieved our aim as an obedient movement. To become a politician, politics is not a profession per se. In other climes, a politician does not earn salary, as I was told. I'm here to investigate that, interrogate that. You are not on any pay, but you add value to your system. When if you are there, they just give you stipend. But from what I have seen here, if I now say I'm a politician, that means I want to go gather, become like what we have in the major two parties that we have identified. If it is that one, no, sir. I'm there to add value. I am somebody in the movement, a movement to ensure that there's a change to a new era of thinking, of being democratically led and followed in this country. And to have a good foundation, because the Bible says, if the foundation be faulty, what can the righteous do? So that is my passion, that when Peter Obi comes with his team, they have a good foundation in the areas that I can give my experience and bring them to bear. So it is after that I will now look at it. Of course, I will have to participate in activities that will help them to come. So you can now call me any name you want, but I am in the movement.
You know that we understand how this politics works in Nigeria, where you have to be a member of a party to get certain kind of attention. Are you a member of the Labour Party? You
see, you're asking that question. If it is because of this question you're asking, I will not answer it directly. Why? Because let me say my second objective is to ensure that we have a party, we have a party that is really ideological, that will tell you we will do this and they will do it, that is accountable to the people, corrupt-free. So I am like I want to contribute, to be a builder of that foundation. Yes, I can decide to probably before the elections or whatever, but I can tell you definitely I don't want to be committed because, and that is why you see the other day, I was told that they still need to rearrange the presidential campaign committee. I was told that they complained, they want the TUC chairman removed, the TUC president and Labour group, they shouldn't be there. All those things happening. All because some people are saying we just came, we are the party, we are not the party, and all that.
So you see, that's why I'm asking that. Because
now you're asking because if that is the situation, there is nothing too much to do. Even to waive some of my partner to go and get the card and get registered in my local.
Oh, great! So it's obvious that do you know why I'm asking this question, General? Do you know why I'm asking the question? Is many would wonder how you would make the Presidential Campaign Council without being a member of the party. And now you say you're not a member of the party.
I'm not a member. I've not told you.
But you just said that if it takes, depends on what it takes, you'll be willing to do.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Are you a member of the party
Don't
or
put
not?
words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth.
Are you a member of the Labour Party or not?
So don't put words in my mouth.
No, I'm asking. I'm not saying that.
You say you are a member of the party.
No, I'm asking, are you a member of the Labour Party?
I will give you that response in our next meeting.
All right, great. But were you consulted before your name was included in that list?
Yes, I was consulted. There was this what do you call it? This broadcast I made and posted on open advisory to Nigerians. Podcast. Somebody had it. I think some of the people who are in the early obedience. The early obedience, one of them called me and said, we saw this and that. Are you available? Can you be available? Just like we chatted, I chatted with him. And my passion for why I'm supporting the obedient movement, particularly Obi and then Ahmed. If you ask me to tell you, I can tell you the reasons later in this period, in this our interaction. Will you be available? I told him, yes, sir, because he's my senior in the military. And he said, okay. Will you be available for the campaign? I said, yes, sir. That was how my name came in.
I think the ultimate question, just as you had hinted, is why have you chosen to support Peter Obi and Senator Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed?
Yes. It is a good, will I call it a coincidence, based on my experience and knowledge about those two principles. I first met Peter Obi in 2006. I think about 17 years ago or years or thereabout. I was a commanding officer at 14th Field Engineers Regiment Onitsha when he came in as a governor of Anambra State to take over from Dr. Ngige. On taking over, he drove straight to the barrack. As it were then, the security situation was, there was no Operation Mesa in Onitsha, in Anambra State. It was like criminals, agitators were doing whatever they liked. No Operation Mesa, that is the internal security operations that the oldest in the army or in the armed forces for now. And he came, humbly, visited the barracks, and that was how we started. That was how I knew him. And he made presentations, I think, to the CNC then, and they approved the Operation Mesa for him. And we were tasked, and I was the commander, the unit commander, the operation commander. We didn't, as it were, when he came, the problem was so serious that police were prevented from even doing their work inside of the shutdown. AIG Okiro was sent immediately. He came. Then John Haruna of blessed memory, they came. We started. When the Okiro went back, AIG as it were then, John Haruna also went back. But later John was brought back. I can tell you that within 2 weeks, His Excellency Peter Obi, when Operation Mesa was restored and we were permitted, given the approval to conduct the operations to ensure internal security, all that we needed was provided by him No middleman, no middle, say, pass through this. Midnight and all that. One thing hit me and touched me. There was this incident that happened in Enenche. There was jailbreak. As I speak, as at that time, our level of equipment, particularly logistics vehicles, was very, very low. It was low. I will not say very low because even staff car did not have. And we needed to go to town. He called me at about 1 a.m. Look at what is happening, Commander. I said, sir, we are coming. I called my headquarters. Of course, because of the level of equipment, they also didn't have. They had to call the div headquarters. The div headquarters had to do 1 or 2 things before the vehicle arrived. It was about 12 noon the following day. As then the deed was done. The prisoners had broken, done everything, done the damage. It pained him. And he said, what do you want? We gave him our requirements. Within a couple of days, basically it was mobility. He provided about 10 Hilux vehicles immediately. And then the operation started. It started, it's not a question of you passing through, go to this person. Direct releases, everything. He was in command and control of the operation. Where there was need for, non-kinetics like negotiations, they were all done. And everything like a miracle, within a month, ceased back to normal criminality. That was when I met him. And on, we started for the next 4, 5, 6 months before I now went to Liberia. And that was the basis for other commanders that came in. That you were hearing that while he was in Anambra State, this happened. That was when I knew him. Then what about the vice presidential candidate? From a distance, 3 of my children schooled through Base University. And I was wondering, about 5 years ago, and it has been like following his record. How did he come up with this package? I didn't even know that he went through all the meal or the way he went to, but his personality. And then one thing, he presented himself as somebody that is liberal. Me, I won't hide from anybody. I am, a Christian and all that. He said, my daughter told me that they established a Christian fellowship for them, a church. He insisted. That is the vice presidential candidate. Oh, wow. Because it was like going to pick her from school, taking her to church. So when his name now came up, I said, no. This is the kind of person we need. Because, of course, there were issues with the other people. We are talking about religion. But this man is somebody that is liberal. He does not discriminate. The same thing with Peter Obi. When there was this reprisal problem in Onitsha, everybody rushed into the barracks. I was a disaster response unit commander in charge of disaster. When they rushed, he came and visited them physically. No discrimination between tribe, whatever. He brought things. State management agency, he taxed them in addition to what the federal government, national, and it was like that. Established IDP camp and all in the barracks. He was in touch 24/7. So when his name now, he came up for this, I said, no. Look, putting other conditions together. Competence, capability, and above all, this corruption-free, whether convicted or not. That was what informed my decision. It's not something of today. And of course, once in a while, I think we exchanged calls. How are you doing, Commander, and all that? Fine. So, based on these personal qualities, I consider personal qualities of leadership. In short, integrity. In the military, there's one thing we hold in high esteem. Appraiser, we call it confidential report. The first one, if my memory will not fail me, is integrity. Integrity in the military is like milk. Once it pours away, it spills. That's all. Cannot get it. And I saw that in him. And Ahmed, and I said, no. I will make up my mind to ensure that these people become leaders that will have the commensurate followership. When I saw the obedient movement, that it's not people that have money, it's not people that, no, people that are touched and patriotic. Let me join them. I have something to offer. even if it's just contribution and all that. So,
you know, listening to a retired military general speak so highly of Mr. Peter Obi on issue of security is something to ponder on, because a number of persons have questioned his pedigree to handle the issue of security. Would you say that the country would be in safe hands and the issue of security will be nipped in the bud under Mr. Peter Obi?
If what we did in Anambra State then, and what even the police confirmed, yes, it will. Because I can tell you that he will be in command and control, he will be available 24/7. He will be passionate. I won't even be surprised. I will not be surprised if he says, look, he will take charge of the defense ministry. I won't be surprised. Because at state level, but he was like the commissioner of defense in Anambra State. Yes, it will be secured in his hands.
Let me ask you this question. During your time in the military service, you served on the PDP and the APC governments.
Yes.
And now you don't think that the APC or the PDP are the way to go. I'd like to think that you've seen something in those two parties that's made you turn away from them and look in the direction of the Labour Party.
Well, interestingly, I have close friends and relations in those two parties. I have distant associates, people that I know highly respected. Now, I have not seen where either of them, though from my own analysis, there are two containers with the same content. Two different containers, but the same content. You just need to move from this one and enter this one. From this one, enter this one. So they are the same 1 and 2. Now, having said that, what I have seen is not encouraging for me. That is the truth of the matter. I cannot go against my conscience. They may say it is beyond their control. I don't know how, but look at it. I thought I was going to retire and go straight to the village. The village I left, where I have 2-bedroom flats built, going, I cannot go there again.
Why?
Yes, because of insecurity. Close to my house, at the junction, kidnapping. Killing that they will attribute to whom they don't know. At the point they say, look, it's farmers, headers, all manner of things. You cannot, as I keep, even shortly before I left, there is no week. I lost a cousin who was kidnapped. The ransom they asked before, nothing, the man just disappeared since 2018. Why am I saying so? Because cutting across the two administrations, like I said in my advisory to Nigerians, I was opportuned to be a researcher, a research fellow. I was opportuned to teach, let me use the language that people understand, to direct senior participants at National Defense College, wrote projects. I have seen reports. I have participated in various meetings, symposiums, seminars. All the recommendations that came out are what? Bad leadership, corruption on these two parties, these two containers. So that is why, in short, I wouldn't have known whom to vote for if Peter Obi did not come out. Yes, I would have been like that. If he didn't come out, I wouldn't have known. That is the truth of the matter. Because I will not do, of course, it's not the individual, it's a group. I don't think we have political parties as it were. We have a group of people put together by themselves, fighting, doing all manner of things. The recent convention or whatever, the one they did to elect whatever, see them in court now that money was used. Is that the kind of people that will go and join? The answer is no. When I cannot do that, my conscience. Even somebody approached me and said, look, come and support me, this and that. It's like business, so he sat down in this place like this. I almost walked him out. Business, say when you come, invest, when things come with I was like, if not because he's from my village, and I respect him so much, I would have walked him out. So is that the kind? That is why I saw nothing attractive, because the first the PDP was there long for how many years? Very long. Things keep depreciating, keeps getting worse. We keep praying. keep praying. The armed forces on their toes, overstretched. Everybody. Then now APC came. The same thing, like jumping from frying pan to fire. Then you want me to go and join them? God will not forgive me. No, sir. So I have conscience. And I say, look, this experience I have gathered for 35 effective years in the field. There are things that I know. In short, at the point I was putting something together. And I say, God, give us somebody that is God-fearing, with integrity, that have international spread. So because a lot of things, some things we need may be from outside. And all that. And I will present this package. I will say, let me give you advice.
So you have an idea. You had advice for how we can solve the security situation in the country for Peter Obi if he becomes president.
If I don't have, then I wouldn't have joined this thing. What do I have? I would have come like any ordinary person to look for money, to look for a job. The answer is no.
Let me find out from you. At the beginning of the Boko Haram insurgency, one of the things we heard from the military at the time was that there was no prior training to handle terrorism, so to speak. You've lived through this period. You've served also through this period. I'd like to know what sort of improvement you observed in the areas of training, weapons, and equipment purchase.
Yes, for the area of training, because if you purchase equipment, procure equipment, you need a man behind the platform. That I can tell you that the armed forces, they have done a lot. We have this special forces training school in Bida. The army also is, up their game in the area because this hybrid kind of operations, all manner of challenges, security challenges, asymmetric warfare that came up, and the ones you cannot even define now. The army started tailoring their training towards that, and it's effective at the basic level, like from as far back as low as depot training through to the School of Infantry and all other schools. The same thing with the Air Force I'm aware of, and even the Navy. In short, the Navy started their special boat service long ago before now. So the military is well prepared and equipped, and they are changing every day, even right to the Nigerian Defense Academy, where you now bake the officers that will come and work together with the men that lead them. The training is here. So the equipment also, I know a lot is being done, like the tanks, armored tanks, and then artillery guns. And I was even told that, in short, there was something that the former management team was doing before as per technology, trying to mind dictator and all that. It's not all that I can be able to give out here. So, but I can tell you that in summary,
there's been improvement.
Yes, there's improvement.
All right, great. Let's talk about the growth and development of this country, something you've started preaching about after serving 37 years in the military service. And you're retiring as a major general. I'm sure you've lived through growth or otherwise. What sort of growth and development would you say that you've experienced through this period?
Personally, or for the system? For
the system, definitely.
Good. For the system, I can tell you that the growth is in the area, particularly the curriculum review. That is the training. The kind of training we got as cadets before commission is not what we have now. The same thing with the depot training. Now, for instance, at Nigerian Defense Academy, special forces training is part of the package. During our time, it was not. Things like wading, swimming and all that, they were not, amongst others. So that is what I can tell you, this improvement, and it's on a daily basis. As we are going into the field, after action report, they are seeing with the operation lessons learned. The military continues, and they are doing that. I was in touch with some of the officers in charge of those things, and even new innovations are coming in. Try to the written exams, practical exams. The kind of exams we wrote, practical is not the same thing what they are doing now, to test your knowledge based on what. So there's a lot of improvement.
Oh, great. General Enenche, let me draw your attention to something. Someone said to me that this country would have been better, or would be better, the day that the security agencies decide that it should be. The person said to me, the day that security agencies refuse to follow unlawful and inhumane orders from politicians, that this country would be better. Do you agree?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say that the military that I served never took what they are talking about. We call it unpopular orders. They don't. I didn't. In all fairness, as I'm talking to you, I know some people may not be comfortable with what that I'll mention it. God is here with us. The Holy Spirit is here. So people may misconstrue the need for you or for the military to ensure that the country is one altogether. That for nobody, no military man, no that is trained in NDA, that we take any unpopular order. Even our soldiers that we lead, they don't. What we are saying, what is the problem with the military now? The problem you are saying that maybe security situation has not improved as it ought to be. It's not at the National Assembly that they are even pleading for them. Give them resources, equip them. It's every day. So once that is done, finish, I can tell you that what the expectations of this country is will be met. But because there are nobody, no military officer, none will take any unpopular order. So nobody from any politician, no, sir.
All right, let's go back to politics now. Campaigns have commenced. We have just about 4 months before the elections. I'd like to get your immediate concerns regarding the state of the polity as it is now, as we head towards the election.
Yes, my concern actually is the insecurity.
You think it would have an effect on the elections if it's not?
Somehow. But my consolation is that the security agencies are equal to the task. Though there may be, shortfalls here and there, but on the whole, I know that we're going to wade through it. But that is my only concern. Otherwise, if you look at the reforms in INEC, it's quite encouraging, so that ballot boxes will not be snatched again. And sure, that will even reduce the effort for the security agencies, particularly the police. That may be there's somebody they will snatch. No ballot box to snatch again, as they are, are voting a land to be captured and then to be recorded. So the concern is people being prevented from going to vote. That is just the concern. But I believe strongly that once the deployments are done properly and vigilance is maintained within every 24 hours or the duration, maybe 12 hours from 6 to 6, once deployments are done properly, that will be overcome.
Let's talk about your Operation Local Media.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, which you launched. And let's turn to, I think the purpose for that is to turn attention to the rural areas, to get those who are in the urban areas to move to the rural areas, to mobilize their people and explain to them why they need to vote Peter Obi and Yusuf Datti, Baba Ahmed. It raises a question. Do you think that within 4 months, that level of awareness could have been created at the grassroots?
Yes, I am confident and I'm hopeful. Why am I saying so? I'm saying so because I am from a village, from a very local rural area. And the good thing is that we have telephone services there now, GSM services there. The challenge is using Android or whatever that you can use, what do you call it, social media. But the voice, the one that you can talk, Nokia 3310, is all over. And I discovered that where you have effective, maybe communication, reaching out now, is those that can afford the smartphones that they can do their whatever on top, social services, WhatsApp and all that. But you are here. Even in Abuja, there are people who cannot afford that, but you have their number. You can reach them. Take that 2-3 minutes or 10 minutes. That is your own contribution to the obedient movement. That is what I'm just saying. It's local in the sense that it is not smart. And then for those who, because I met a civil servant who told me that in the course of interaction, say, sir, when the time comes, I will go to the village. I say, no, don't wait. Just be going every weekend and be telling them. That is the operation, local media. And I believe it's going to be effective because you don't need to, if like some of the responses I got on Twitter, when they saw that one also, they say, I am starting now. I'm making the calls now. We can achieve that.
But in this era of vote buying and inducement, you think that will work without money?
Yes, the thing will work. What I will advise that, I will advise those who have money not to even give the money again. Because they will collect the money and they will not vote for you. A lot of sensation has gone on. Say the money they are giving you is your own money. When you ask somebody, how did you get this? What companies? They cannot tell you. So how are they getting the money? So even I think, if I'm not wrongly quoted, somewhere one of the principals of Labour told them, collect the money, is your money they are bringing back to you. Money that cannot be explained. So we even tell them that one. Don't say, you see, and that is why conscience matters. In short, they used to say that they swear with the money. The Bible says, costless shall not stand. There's no cost on that money. The money that was gotten and people believe now, that is the assumption they believe is our money they are collecting and coming to give us. How can there be a cost on that money? So let them tell you, swear on top. Collect it, nothing will happen.
You've traversed the length and breadth of this country in the course of serving the country during a military service. Beyond supporting the Peter Obi Dati movement, how confident are you that in 2023, that's the direction that the votes will go?
Well, I am confident based on the fact that the obedient movement is not Labour Party movement now. Obedient movement is gaining grounds. And it will swing in the direction of Peter Obi winning the election. And that is why we have all this sensitization. Let them not even think, we are not thinking, don't think party.
Don't think structure.
Don't think structure. The human beings are the structure now. And a lot of people are realizing that is why Operation Local Media, amongst others, come in. The real Labour Party, from me, I hope I may be annoying somebody now, but I have to be objective. The real Labour Party will come up after Peter Obi has won. Then we now come together, obedient. All of you, the various obedient, NUC, Labour Congress, all the people that say, look, enough is enough, from PDP, APC, and all the other parties, come together. And then our children who, the one that are on social media, though a very small population, but critical. So all those people will now come together, just like you were asking me, if you have Labour Party card before, re-authenticate or whatever, and so that is when the Labour Party will come, then they will now start steering the affairs of this country in agreement. In Labour, I see a situation whereby it's like a friendship, brotherhood, we all work together, listen to each other, and then move this country forward.
General John Enenche, I'd like to thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Terry.
It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you, Terry, for the drilling.
Thank you.
Thank you for the drilling.
Thank you very much. Well, that's Political Paradigm. Thank you very much for your time. Remember, you can catch this episode and previous ones on YouTube. Simply search Political Paradigm or go to channelstv.com. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.